In this lesson, we'll do a practical exercise and create a prototype of a strategy scorecard by following previously defined steps. We will use BSC Designer software for that purpose. Let's imagine that on the step of strategy formulation, we used the PESTLE framework to analyze the external environment. As a result of PESTLE analysis, we found out that the trends that could potentially affect our organization are that more buyers prefer shopping online, as well as more talents wishing to work remotely. These findings allow us to formulate a hypothesis. We need to change the way we serve clients and communicate internally to match the online trend. In this lesson, we will use this imaginary hypothesis and describe a response strategy on a strategy map. Let's switch to BSC Designer software and start the exercise. I suggest starting with the customer perspective. We need to ask two questions. What do the mentioned trends mean for our external customers, our end users? What do those trends mean for our internal customers, our team and partners? Today, more businesses are offering their services online. How are the habits of the end users changing in this context? Instead of buying products and services locally, customers search for solutions to their challenges online. How will they find our product? How will they make their buy decision? How can a company establish a trustful relationship with customers when selling online? As for the internal team, they will need to shift to doing more business online. Their challenges are to get adapted to the new management style, learn to use new tools, and most importantly, find the right work-life balance. With these ideas in mind, we can formulate goals for customer perspective. The goal formulated with the needs of customer in mind will be effective online presence. The goal formulated with the needs of internal team and partners in mind will be prepare for doing more business online. Financial perspective. What financial goals do we expect to achieve if we satisfy the needs of the customers? When selling online, we'll be able to serve more customers and respectively increase revenue. In the finance perspective, I map the increase revenue goal. When formulating goals for the financial perspective, it's important to focus on the cause and effect relationship between the goals in the customer perspective and finance perspective. The logic is that satisfying customers' needs result in achieving financial goals. Internal perspective. What would we need to change internally to address the needs of the customers in the context of selling online? To answer this question, we need to look at how things are organized now. What is our approach to marketing today? Where are the main costs and constraints? How do we need to change to engage better with our customers online. As an example, let's focus on this goal. Implement content marketing. The rationale behind this goal is a hypothesis that content marketing will help to get the attention of clients online and will be more cost effective than classical marketing efforts. As for teamwork, can the project team, from our example, communicate 100% online? Do they have the necessary tools? Does management have the necessary skills to work with a remote team? Let's formulate goal in this way. Prepare for remote work. The rationale behind this goal will be related to all the barriers we found during the analysis step. For example, the need to optimize hiring process for remote work, or focus on diversity and inclusion to better understand the needs of diverse groups of clients. To keep a record of the rationale, I can make a note via initiatives. Learning perspective. Finally, what skills and infrastructure do we need to work on the goals from the internal perspective? We need content creation skills, content marketing, and we need, let's formulate it in this way, reliable architecture for online meetings and collaboration. We have formulated the goals on the strategy map. Now it's time to make those goals more specific by adding some KPIs. Let's start with the goals from the learning and growth perspective. What are the success factors of developing a skill to create a good content? As in the case of most soft skills, the success factors are training and practice. In this case, one needs to pass some copywriting training and practice a lot in creating content for a website and social media. What about validating the achievements in this case? How can we confirm that someone in our organization, in our team, actually mastered the skill of creating good content? We can look at the final test score of the copywriting training, but it's not a reliable indicator. The training score might be high, but there is no guarantee that the takeaways of the training will be properly implemented and result in tangible business improvement. A better approach is to test the skills in practice. The person who passed the copywriting training can create content for the mail list, video platform, or the company's blog. Then we can check if this content works as expected. We can track the engagement metrics for the content, such as bounce rate, time on site, or watch time. Or we can share this content on social media and see if people are willing to share it. Let's summarize all these thoughts in the form of indicators. In this case, we have copywriting training, leading indicator, and it is measured in hours. And we also have login indicator, uh, social engagement, measured in percent. In the case of this indicator, social engagement, have it here. We can pick one of the engagement metrics that I have mentioned before, or build an index of metrics, as we discussed in the article in the reference for this lesson. We can now connect the goal, content creation skills, with implement content marketing. Besides the visual link, such connection can also mean that the content creation skill goal is contributing to the implement content marketing goal as a leading indicator. In our example, this kind of connection makes perfect sense. What are the success factors of implement content marketing goal? One of them is obviously the need to have a content creation skill. And we already have it quantified by the login indicator for the content creation skill goal. In the context of the implement content marketing goal, that indicator becomes a leading indicator. How can we validate a successful implementation of content marketing? We could use social engagement metrics, but do they actually quantify what we want to achieve? I guess no. Likes and shares are not our end goal. We want content to generate more leads for our business. The number of leads generated will be an excellent login indicator in this case. Now I'm connecting the implement content marketing goal with the effective online presence goal. What are the success factors of online presence? It should be easy to find this product, and it should be easy to understand how it works. With online marketing, we solve a part of this challenge. Respectively, implementing content marketing will be one of the leading indicators. Another leading indicator can be response of customer service. For the case when users have some questions. How will we validate the outcomes of effective online presence? How about general customer satisfaction indicator? Or more specific, customer lifetime value. Finally, how will satisfying customer needs impact the financial performance? For example, we can see higher monthly recurring revenue. What about initiatives? Let's think about effective online presence goal. The initial hypothesis was that customers uh, will search online more and will buy online more. But we are not really thinking strategically. We expect things to be working as they always did, with just some small changes. What if the change will be more dramatic? What if the requirements of the clients will change significantly? We don't know. But I think these are good questions to ask. We can map this idea as an initiative. Let's call it research customer trends. If we have enough resources, this can become a comprehensive goal for the learning perspective. Uh, and we can add some details for this initiative if we need. We can add some description, some budget, and so on. Another goal that drew my attention is implement content marketing. What exactly do we mean by implementing of content marketing? We have content creation skill as one of the leading indicator, but just having the skill is not enough. We need to understand the preferences of the target audience in terms of content and presentation format. We need to find publishing platforms where the content will get more attention. We also need to define a workflow for content marketing. The steps like research, writing, review, adding illustration, promotion, translation, etc. With these ideas in mind, I add two initiatives. A/B test the preference of the target audience. And another initiative can be define the workflow for the content marketing. Okay, the whole picture of strategy is now getting much more detailed. We started with a vague idea that the buyer's preferences are changing. We use this hypothesis to define a response strategy. We describe this strategy on the strategy map with a high level of details using business goals, using KPIs, and initiatives. Is the strategy from this example ready for execution? Let's now discuss some practical ideas to improve the strategy map and avoid typical mistakes. Once a strategy is described on a high level, it's important to understand how to cascade it. Let's take prepare for remote work goal from internal perspective as an example. A lot of ideas related to this goal resonate with a strategy for talent management, for HR. Should we map all those goals here, or should we cascade those goals to the HR strategy map? It might be a good idea to align the prepare for remote work goal from our strategy map with the diversity and inclusion scorecard. Let's do this. Let's add here some indicator and link it to diversity and inclusion scorecard. We can use the login performance of a key goal from the diversity inclusion scorecard. For example, this one. As a leading indicator, let's change its role. Okay, as a leading indicator for the prepare for remote work goal. This indicator, we don't own it. It comes from a different scorecard. Uh, we did link to scorecards in this way. In a similar way, the scorecards of different business units can show how they contribute to the main strategy. In our example, we left some goals without KPIs. That's perfectly fine in the early stage of strategy description. It's better to have goals without KPIs than stick to bad KPIs and have nothing to do with what our organization wants to achieve. In the case of the goals that are hard to quantify, I do recommend to plan a separate initiative focused on finding the best way to measure efforts and the achievements. The discussions that will happen during those brainstorming sessions are even more valuable than the final set of indicators. Sometimes, when we design a strategy map, there are goals, like for example this one, that are not linked to any goal from a lower perspective. Yeah, for example, there might be a goal in customer perspective that is not linked to any goal in internal perspective. The cause and effect logic is not complete in this case. We have mapped a goal, but we have not described how we plan to approach it. This might happen for two reasons. This part of strategy is not developed yet, or the contribution is not expressed visually, but it is implied. Learn to differentiate these two cases and plan to develop the missing parts of the strategy map if needed. What else is missing on this strategy scorecard? KPI definitions. We defined leading and lagging metrics, but we just specify their names without any other detail. Let's see, for example, the social engagement metric from the learning and growth perspective. We can add more detail about this metric in the description field. We can specify measurement units by picking something from the list or create our own measure units. We can specify the owner of this indicator. To calculate the performance of this KPI and to make it comparable with other metrics, the software needs to know the scale that we use for measurement and the current value of the indicator. For example, for this indicator, the scale might be from 0 to 100, and the current value can be 80%. We can define the importance of this indicator compared to the importance of other indicators on the scorecard. And we can define how the performance depends on the value. For example, in this case, a higher value means higher performance. Finally, we can define the type of indicator. It is leading or lagging metric. In our case, it is lagging. We can repeat similar steps and similar setup for other indicators. Enter data manually or import data from an Excel spreadsheet or a database. In the user's manual, we have some training video where we discuss the definition of KPIs and other related functions in detail. In step 2 of strategic planning process, we mentioned strategic themes, the kind of filter for all new ideas. Strategic themes also help us to make the strategy more focused. How can we reflect, for example, that the implement content marketing belongs to operational excellence strategic theme, We can pick the goal and switch to Context tab and select respective strategic theme, Operational Excellence. This change will be immediately reflected on the strategy map via color used for this goal. In the step 5 of strategic planning process, we discussed the best practices about executing strategy. They need to visualize data on the dashboards and to do the gap analysis. To make the strategy execution easier, we can add some charts to the dashboard. And we are not limited to one dashboard only. We can have many dashboards that visualize different aspects of a strategy. The mentioned gap analysis is automated on the Analysis tab, where we can find the indicators that require attention. We can even predict the future values of indicators using historical data. Once again, there are training videos for all these functions, so if you're interested in learning more how the software helps automate strategic planning, please check them out. Practical challenge. Now you have an example of how a strategy can be defined and described on a strategy map. Follow the example and create a prototype of your strategy scorecard in BSC Designer Online. Here is a plan for you. Define strategy attributes, like we did in Lesson 2. Formulate some strategic hypotheses, like we did in Lesson 3. It's not necessary to use the PESTLE framework. Feel free to use any framework that resonates with your current needs. Describe strategic hypotheses on the strategy map using business goals, KPIs, and initiatives. Cascade some of the goals to the lower level scorecards, or at least prepare a cascading plan. If you need some more ideas for inspiration, check out live examples of strategy scorecards on our website. The link to the examples is included in the reference part. The participants of the premium program, once you have the prototype ready, feel free to share it with your trainer. We will review your prototype and suggest some improvements. This step is required if you plan to obtain a completion certificate.